Rising to fame as a member of the groundbreaking K-pop duo Deux, Kim Sung-jae was a one-of-a-kind visionary. But just as he was about to take K-pop to the next level, tragedy struck. Found in his hotel room only hours after the first performance of his solo debut hit, Kim Sung-jae's shocking and suspicious death sparked rumors, one of Korea's most talked about court cases and investigations, and a deep mystery that remains unsolved to this day. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Kim Sung-jae's life, his work in Deux, Kim Sung-jae's tragic passing, and his legacy. Ready to learn more about this fascinating artist? Then let's get going. Born in 1972, Kim Sung-jae's early life is mostly overshadowed by his extraordinary career he would go on to have as a member of Deux, one of the most historic and popular K-pop groups of the early 1990s. So how was Deux formed? Remember that this was before the modern trainee system. Deux members Lee Hyun-do and Kim Sung-jae had met in high school. At the same time, Hyung Jin-young, another famous Korean singer, had formed a dance team called Wawa. Fun fact, Hyung Jin-young is known for being one of the main people who brought hip-hop to Korea, a genre that he'd learned about while growing up near a US Army base in Hannam-dong. Hyung Jin-young is also thought to have been the first artist to be signed to SM Entertainment. Back to Wawa. When Hyung Jin-young's two former members went to enlist in the army, the former members suggested that Hyung Jin-young bring in Kim Sung-jae, who later got Lee Hyun-do, his high school friend, a spot in the group as well. After performing together in Wawa in 1993, Lee Hyun-do and Kim Sung-jae broke apart and debuted as Deux, with Hyun-do producing their first album, blending hip-hop, R&B, and vibrant pop that embraced the sound of black music and the culture of hip-hop which they'd come to love while in Wawa. Deux brought a sound that was completely new in Korean pop at the time. Overall, Deux' b-boying, breakdancing inspired choreography, combined with their bold style, made them stand out from the emerging early K-pop crowd, and the duo's second album, Douxism, was an instant success, with the single We Are dominating the charts. The album sold hundreds of thousands of copies within a matter of weeks, and their next album, Rhythm Like Beat Black, was just as big of a hit. They were unstoppable and people couldn't get enough of Deux as they joined the rap dance trend of the 1990s. However, as the Korean Popular Music Institute's Kim Sung-jae pointed out, their intense choreography, which was more faithful to b-boying than of other dance groups, and their music, which was closer to overseas black music trends, clearly differentiated them from Seo Taiji boys and Hyung Jin-young. By 1995, only 2 years after their debut, Deux were household names and had already reached the kind of success that most artists couldn't even dream of. But this would also be the year that everything fell apart. Releasing their third album, Force Deux, in April, the duo's schedule began to take its toll. Despite the album having over 1 million pre-orders and 900,000 sales in a month and a half, with the title track Break Off the Yoke charting on 3 major music shows. In June, Lee Hyun-do and Kim Sung-jae announced that they'd be splitting up because of the health issues that their work was causing. Their decision took both the fans and the music industry by surprise. Deux had been at the top of their game, so why were they suddenly calling it quits? But despite being overworked, Kim Sung-jae, still only 23 years old, was far from finished, and he launched his solo career almost immediately after Deux disbanded. Releasing his excellent debut solo album As I Told You in November and performing on a music program that same day to an overwhelming applause, it was the start of Kim Sung-jae's new chapter as a solo Korean rock star. With the whole country loving his new song and hailing him as the ultimate 90s heartthrob, that night Kim Sung-jae went back to his hotel room with his girlfriend. Little did everyone know that this would be the last time we'd ever see Kim Sung-jae. The next morning, the unthinkable happened. The young singer was found no longer alive in his hotel room. The shocking news tore through the early K-pop world, leaving everyone in shock. They'd just seen him perform the day before. It seemed impossible to think that Kim Sung-jae could have passed away during the few hours afterward. Pressured to come up with a reason for his passing quickly, initially the police pointed to sudden death syndrome, SDS, which is when a young, seemingly healthy person passes away unexpectedly, often because of a heart attack from overworking or other stress. Everyone knew that Kim Sung-jae and Lee Hyun-do were overworked, so at first the conclusion made sense. But as the investigators dug deeper into his death and the case, it didn't take long for more and more suspicious details to come out that made the original story seem less likely. For example, there were a number of inconsistencies that didn't quite match with sudden death syndrome. Looking at his body, the police investigators found 28 needle marks on Kim Sung-jae's right arm, something that immediately raised alarm bells, especially since, according to reports, it would have been impossible to inject himself into his dominant arm. Even more disturbing was what the autopsy found in his body next: hints of an animal anesthetic in his system, a substance that doesn't occur naturally and is different from normal meant for human sleeping pills. Could Kim Sung-jae have been poisoned? This shocking discovery turned the death into a full-scale criminal investigation. You see, in addition to his girlfriend, according to the Chosun Ilbo, Kim Sung-jae had been joined that night by 2 American backup dancers, who returned home the day after Kim Sung-jae had been found, along with 4 Korean backup dancers, a manager and another colleague, all of whom had been reported been drinking with Kim Sung-jae to celebrate the album before he went to bed around 10 p.m. However, out of everyone who'd been there that night, all eyes were on his girlfriend, known and referred to only as Miss Kim. She had been with him just hours before his death and left the hotel at 3:40 a.m, making her the main focus of the investigation. What had happened in those last few hours? As everyone started coming up with their own theories, there were far more questions than answers. Reportedly, the couple had been together for some time, but their relationship was rocky, especially as the police revealed that while Kim Sung-jae had been in the US, having only come back to Korea a few days before the album release, he had called his girlfriend to break up with her. Police also later found that Miss Kim had brought a strong animal anesthetic from a vet. Defending herself, Miss Kim claimed that the animal sleeping pills that she'd bought had been for her pet dog, and that she had thrown them away the day after she had bought them. She also claimed that when she'd left, Kim Sung-jae had been sleeping normally. But the police weren't convinced, and the story soon took a sharp turn when Miss Kim was arrested and officially charged with taking Kim Sung-jae's life. The trial quickly became a public spectacle, as it was, without a doubt, one of the biggest court cases of the time, with both fans and the media following along every detail. At first, the case seemed like an open and shut one, as the first trial court sentenced Miss Kim as guilty and gave her life in prison. However, the second trial reversed this and found her not guilty, as the judge pointed to the fact that the amount of animal sleeping pills she'd bought was reportedly less than the official lethal dose, and estimated time of death didn't fit the prosecutor's story. Without concrete, conclusive evidence, in the end, Miss Kim was acquitted, much to the surprise of those who had been following the story. If Miss Kim wasn't guilty, then how did Kim Sung-jae pass away? Kim Sung-jae's passing just hours after he dropped one of the most iconic first-gen K-pop albums left a huge vacuum in the Korean music scene. For Lee Hyung-do, losing not just his close longtime friend, but also his musical partner, was particularly heartbreaking. And in response, he announced his retirement from the industry, although he would return with a solo album the next year. As the years passed, the mystery of Kim Sung-jae and his passing continued to be a big question for fans, the overall Korean entertainment industry, and the general public. In fact, in 2019, an investigative program on SBS titled Unanswered Questions had planned to go into the details of the case in a special episode, given how much public interest there still was in the story. However, Miss Kim blocked the episode, as she argued that it would only reopen old wounds. The court sided with her, and the episode was pulled from the air. The Unanswered Questions staff wrote about the situation. The episode tackled an unsolved case that has many unanswered questions. It was an opportunity to interview experts on newly developed scientific techniques that may have shed some light on the case, and we spent 5 months researching and collecting material for the story. The production staff regret that even though our goal was to promote the public interest and show how newly scientific evidence could solve unsolved crimes, we were instead suspected of trying to defame a specific person. We did not expect the whole show to be banned from broadcast. Despite his short life, Kim Sung-jae left a massive imprint on the Korean pop music scene, influencing not only the artists of his time, but also shaping the way that K-pop would develop in future generations of the genre. Love modern K-pop groups like BTS and 17? Then you have Kim Sung-jae and Lee Hyun-do to thank. While Lee Hyun-do changed the game as a producer and songwriter, it was Kim Sung-jae who brought Deux's music to life, as he paired the music with intense and intricate choreography, setting a new standard for K-pop and K-hip-hop, and street dances, and raising the bar for stage performances. In addition to his musical talent, Kim Sung-jae was a trendsetter who also single-handedly shaped the style culture of K-pop with his hip clothes and the use of accessories. Honestly, the style holds up today, proving just how ahead of his time Kim Sung-jae was and the power of his eye for fashion. As both a musician and a model, Kim Sung-jae's outfits became instantly recognizable. In fact, a 1994 survey of 500 high schoolers held by the Kia Group found that Deux was the second most popular artist that the youths were copying, coming in right after Seotaiji and Boys. As for his tragically short solo career, As I Told You has become a fan favourite in both K-pop and among Korean music listeners. In fact, the song has been remixed and covered several times, including by Hyungjun and Minji of ATEEZ, Stray Kids Hyunjin, Han and Felix. The popular rapper PH1 did a remix of As I Told You, and the song was even covered by BTS at MBC Music Festival in 2016. Over time, Kim Sung-jae's legacy has only grown, and in 2022, a virtual avatar of the singer and performer was unveiled by Persona Space and Galaxy Corporation. His family also continues to honour his memory. In 2019, his brother, singer Kim Sung-wook, released the single Ray Shower to commemorate and celebrate Kim Sung-jae's life and legacy. About his brother, Kim Sung-wook told the Korea Times, "I am grateful for the people who still remember him, and also grateful that more and more people, including the younger generation who never knew Kim Sung-jae was, are now interested in him. I just want people, including those outside Korea, to show that there was a very inspirational musician and dancer, Kim Sung-jae, who left a deep impact on the next generation of producers, musicians, and current K-pop idol groups with his extraordinary talent, fashionable style, and huge smile." Although the mystery tied to Kim Sung-jae's passing may never be fully solved, his legacy as an artist and visionary continues to be an important part of Korean music history. A trailblazer who hugely helped shape the early years of K-pop and Korean hip-hop. Deux and Kim Sung-jae's influence can be felt in the music of today's K-pop artists, who all pay homage to Kim Sung-jae through their musical choreographies and performances. What do you think about Deux and their music? Who is your favourite first-generation K-pop artist? What do you think about the mystery of Kim Sung-jae's passing? Let me know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos straight to your feed.